Some of you may have seen my ad regarding Angelina Jolie and her decision to do a preventive double mastectomy. And you should know that initially that ad was rejected by cable. They wouldn't run it until they saw proof of what I was saying, that breastfeeding would have reduced her odds significantly to the point where she would be basically on the level of someone that did not have a history of breast cancer in her family. Should she have breastfed for 1 year, she'd probably be on a standard basis as far as her potential for getting breast cancer, even though she had the gene known as BRCA1. There are two genes that they look for, BRCA1, BRCA2. She had BRCA1. These genes were discovered by a company called Myriad Genetics back in the 90s. They patented it, and when other doctors tried to use it, they prevented them from using it. The ACLU filed suit against them, and recently the Supreme Court said you can't patent genes. So they were able to charge $3,000 to $4,000 a test, and they wanted to keep that potential there, and that's why they prevented other doctors from utilizing it, and why it went to the Supreme Court. The fact of the matter is that this whole process seems totally absurd to me and a very simplistic answer to a very complex problem. And I'm afraid that Angelina is somewhat promoting this, probably without her knowledge, this whole procedure. Basically, the studies that I've found, and like I said, cable wouldn't run my ad until they saw the studies that I'm talking about. But as far as questioning the studies that talk in terms of what did she accomplish by this double mastectomy, you don't see very much about it. It's all she's pretty much glorified for making that decision. The fact is that there's no studies that indicate that a double mastectomy will actually extend life. They haven't done studies on that. The studies that are out there, and I have them, and you can see this, both studies, the study regarding breast cancer being substantially reduced with that gene by breastfeeding, and also a study that indicates that this double mastectomy that she did may not be of any benefit at all to her, and if it is, it may be of limited benefit. It may have extended her life by possibly 4.5 years. And those 4.5 years quite probably are consumed with the operations necessary to remove the breast and then to reconstruct the breast. And Lord knows all the possible ramifications involved with those kinds of surgeries. And then after that, she intends to remove her ovaries, because it's a fact that the breast, with that gene, removing the breast alone will only prevent breast cancer, but not ovarian cancer. So ultimately, they have to remove the ovaries too, to give her any chance of extended life by that process. Interestingly enough, breastfeeding, from what I can see in the studies, and they're here and you can take a look at them on my website, that ovarian cancer is also one that's substantially affected by breastfeeding. And if you breastfeed for 3 years and have 3 normal deliveries, the risk of ovarian cancer is reduced to over 90%. And those things are just not widely disseminated and widely known. And the fact that Angelina's decision has been glorified in the press and glorified in the magazines and glorified in the news, it concerns me, because it's not there may be other things going on, why they're glorifying that. The money involved in the test alone, along with all the things necessary to do the double mastectomy, and then the removal of the ovaries, and then rebuilding the breast, when breastfeeding might resolve all those issues. I find that extremely obnoxious. I don't know why that's not publicly, a tremendous amount of publicity is not disseminated by the medical profession. I think it's their responsibility to put that information out there. It shouldn't be me. It shouldn't be a lawyer on a website telling you about this. This should be out there, and everybody should know about it.